While both Dodge and Plymouth made several formidable models during the golden age of classic muscle cars, the following models were the fastest. Welcome everyone. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 10 fastest classic Mopar muscle cars. Hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Number 10, 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. Top speed, 117 miles per hour. It seems kind of weird that the 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda has the slowest top speed here, considering it could smoke every production muscle car, including the rest of the Mopars on this list in the quarter mile. It was rated at 117 miles per hour. In any case, nobody ever lined up against the fearsome Hemi Cuda and felt good about their chances. The third-generation Barracuda was restyled on the Dodge Challenger E-body platform, but didn't share any sheet metal with its Mopar cousin. Of course, power ran in the family, and no car better utilized the 426 Hemi's impressive horsepower and torque. Number 9, 1969 Plymouth Barracuda. Top speed, 118 miles per hour. There's a 100% chance that nobody would have needed more than 118 miles per hour in a quarter-mile race back in the day, but it's almost comical that Plymouth capped the Barracudas in this range. Muscle car love owners to brag about things their rides will never do, and having a 160 miles per hour speedometer would have been a source of pride. With a 118 miles per hour top speed rating, the second-generation 1969 Plymouth Barracuda was fast as hell and did it with a 440 Super Commando, as the 426 Hemi wasn't yet available for the model. 1969 was the last year the Barracuda would bear any resemblance to the Plymouth Valiant from which it was born, and the first year that the high-performance Cuda package was available. 1964 Plymouth Sport Fury. Top speed, 126 miles per hour. The 1964 Pontiac GTO is largely credited with starting the classic muscle car craze, as well as having a reputation for being a fast ride. The truth, however, is that the 1964 Plymouth Sport Fury had a lot more muscle and ate GTOs for lunch. It even had a faster name, as Fury sounds like it will punch you in the face after taking your pink slip in a race, while Gran Turismo Omologato could have been a Puccini opera or an archaic surgical procedure. The 64 GTO had a 389 CIV8 and crawled a quarter mile in 15.8 seconds. The 64 Sport Fury came with a max wedge 426 engine and blazed the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds. There were plenty of lesser-known muscle cars from all the American automakers before 1964, but in a just world, the Plymouth Sport Fury would get more credit for kicking off the classic era. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. Top speed, 134 miles per hour. 6 years after Ford introduced the Mustang, Dodge finally got around to producing their own car with the 1970 Challenger. They packed it with way more ponies, however, creating one of the fastest muscle cars ever built. The Challenger was supposed to be a luxury vehicle and came with an insane number of trims, options, and possibly configurations, but they all added up to a kick-ass ride. The performance trim was the RT, which had 383, 440, 446 pack, and 426 Hemi engine options. The Hemi was the one to get for any serious street racer, and in fact, the legendary Black Ghost was packing the 426. For those who may find themselves in the world's most obscure automotive trivia contest, the first use of the Challenger name was with the Silver Challenger trim package on the 1959 Coronet. Top speed was rated at 134 miles per hour. 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner. Top speed, 137 miles per hour. Unlike the Lux Challenger, the Plymouth Roadrunner was meant to be a bare-bones ride for people who cared more about speed than comfort. Unbelievably, some of the early models didn't even have carpets and came with a bench front seat. Nobody ever won a street race because they had the worst carpet, but plenty of people with no-frills Roadrunners did. A 1969 Roadrunner with a 426 Hemi could be picked up for under $3,000, which was substantially cheaper than fancy elite rides of the day. It was also considerably faster, with some of the best performance numbers of the classic muscle car era. Plus, it had a cool Roadrunner meep meep horn to counter the stuffy sophistication of more expensive vehicles. Number 5, 1971 Dodge Charger Super B. Top speed, 142 miles per hour. Only 22 1971 Dodge Charger Super Bs were equipped with the 426 Hemi engine, making it one of the rarest classic production Mopars ever. The 1969 Charger Daytona was left off this list because it was such a limited production model, but the 426 Super B made it because it was an engine option. Everyone who bought a 71 could have ordered the Hemi, but only 22 visionaries did so. 1971 is when the Super B trim was moved from the Coronet to the third-gen Charger platform. It was still a B body, so it made a lot more sense than the Mexican A-body Super Bs or the rebooted LX platform 2007 ones. Scat Pack cars have the Bumblebee logo and were spread across all Dodge body platforms, but a Super B is supposed to be a Super B body car like the 71. 1969 Dodge Dart GTS. Top speed, 146 miles per hour. In 1969, Dodge shipped 80 Darts off to Hearst Performance for speed upgrades, and the result was the Hemi Dart. Intended for track use only, and devoid of a warranty, these 426-equipped beasts were stripped-down drag cars. In 1969, Dodge decided they'd build a factory drag car themselves with the Dart GTS 440. Unlike Coronets and Chargers, which were large-end mid-size rides, the Dart was compact, so shoehorning the massive 440 Ci V8 into one came with some sacrifices. The 69 Dart 440 was designed to go fast in a straight line, so maybe turning and stopping weren't priorities. 1966 Plymouth Belvedere Satellite. Top speed, 148 miles per hour. The Roadrunner was descended from the Belvedere and the GTX evolved from the Satellite, so perhaps the 1966 Plymouth Belvedere Satellite is the shared ancestor Mopar missing link. One thing it wasn't missing was power, as the 66 had all Mopar V8s available, including the mighty 426 Hemi. The early 1966 Belvedere Satellites came with a mysterious HP2 fender emblem, which has been interpreted in many ways. Some say it stands for Hemi-powered Plymouth, with the two meanings squared as if it was HPP. Others believe it's Hemi-powered 2 4-barrel carbs. It was eventually replaced with an unambiguous 426 emblem. 1967 Dodge Coronet RT. Top speed, 150 miles per hour. A Coronet is a crown, and the Dodge Coronet started as Mopar royalty in 1959 as the division's top-level luxury full-size model. Over the generations, the Coronet lost its throne and was relegated to the lowest trim midsize. In the fifth generation, however, the former king found it was more suited for battle, and the Coronet became Dodge's mightiest muscle car. 1966 was the first year Chrysler made the 426 Ci Hemi available for regular production vehicles, so conceivably, someone bought a 66 Coronet station wagon with a monster under the hood. In 1967, Chrysler decided that the Hemi should only go on their badged muscle cars, so for that year, the Coronet RT was king of Dodge performance. It was sadly a short-lived reign, because the next year the second-gen Charger usurped its throne. Number 1, 1968 Dodge Charger RT. Top speed, 156 miles per hour. There is no car more associated with the classic muscle car era than the second-generation Dodge Charger. After a rocky introduction in 1966 with a rather goofy-looking fastback, the redesigned 1968 wasn't just a hit, it was an icon. With aggressive styling and scary powerful engine options, it became the archetype of what a muscle car is. Dodge had planned on making around 35,000 new 68 Chargers, but ended up selling nearly 100,000 because it was the car every speed demon had to have. The RT was the top performance trim for 1968, and when equipped with the optional 426 Hemi, was the most unbeatable thing on the streets. It was also the fastest classic Mopar muscle car and a true legend of the era, making it the best of the best. Now that you've seen our list of the 10 fastest Mopar muscle cars, we want to hear from you. Which one is your absolute favorite? And did we miss any that you think should be on this list?